What's going on, YouTubers? For ladies and gentlemen, it is the artist from the lasting natural born thriller here. This time I'm going to do a video about it. Pertains to the late great Owen Hart. Pertains to AEW doing this whole Owen Hart Cup Tournament they've been doing so far. Now, I talked about this before. You know, some of you may not have seen it. Some of you needs to see it to understand where I'm coming from with this whole thing. When they first started this tournament, it was not really a tournament that really began. It was more qualifying matches that they started with numerous of talents from both sides of the men and women to be in this tournament until they officially started it, the tournament or this bracket where it tends to the quarterfinals. And that's where the tournament really began for both sides, for the women's and for the men's. And I was a little disappointed at first. How they started this tournament, and then we get into how the tournament, officially started, and I'm still disappointed at how this ended up being. Basically, they're using this Owen Hart Cup Tournament for their shows of AEW, which is Dynamite, Rampage, leading to Double or Nothing, to advance storylines, where it tends to build up feuds, build up programs, build up segments, and there were some things that I thought it was unique what they did pertains to of it, which we'll get to. But I have not been a fan of how they've been booking this Owen Hart Cup tournament, because the idea of why I thought they was going to do this whole Owen Hart Cup tournament was to make this tournament have some prestige, that has some legitimacy, to have tournament where it could be in a way a shoot in a way, but you can still at the same time also pick who they want to win this tournament for both sides of the men and women's. Instead, they're not doing that at all. I'm pretty sure they have a good choice of who they want to win, and I heard some updates too about by the way, where it tends to whoever wins this tournament, not only they win the cup of this whole thing, but also win a championship belt for both sides of the men and women's. It reminds me of something where it tends to how WWE did the whole Greatest Royal Rumble, back in 2018, or was it 2017? It was kind of one of those years. It had to be 2017. No, I'm sorry. It was 2018. I remember now, because 2018 was Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. So Braun Strowman won that Royal Rumble, which is the 50 participants in the Rumble, and not only he won the trophy, but he also won the green belt trophy, which represents, Saudi Arabia represents the Greatest Royal Rumble that he won. And so this is basically what they're doing here with this whole Owen Hart Cup tournament, as well, for both sides, for the men and women's. Now, where it comes to the tournament here, we have Hikaru Shida in this tournament. She ends up being taken out of the tournament, and they decided to replace her with Chris Stanley, which I'll get to momentarily why that was done. And we'll get to more Hikaru Shida about what she said and how this whole thing transpired with this whole controversy, which it is controversy. But pertains to the whole thing with Rhea Phoenix and Jungle Boy, when they wrestled on Rampage, I believe it was on Rampage. In fact, let me see. Yeah, actually, it was on Rampage, where it was Jungle Boy. Not Jungle Boy. It was Rey Fenix, I should say, and Dante Martin wrestling each other. While you have Kyle O'Reilly sitting, in the crowd taking notes, because we're seems to obviously Rey Fenix. Now here's the thing. Now the thing is, I don't remember it was during the tournament. Since to qualifying into the tournament, that Rey Fenix was being scouted by Kyle O'Reilly, who's very advanced into the tournament. He was taking notes. Don't remember if he was taking notes where it tends to taking notes from both guys or taking notes from Rey Fenix, because Rey Fenix could be the one he's going to be facing in the tournament, which obviously that was going to be no other outcome but Rey Fenix in the tournament. So it's good that Kyle O'Reilly was taking notes pertains to someone like Rey Fenix. Pertains to facing him in to begin this tournament, which smart thing. Now, again, I don't remember if it was during the tournament or it was during a match that Rey Fenix was a part of that Kyle O'Reilly decided to take notes pertains to studying, to be ready, to be prepared in this tournament against Rey Fenix, which he was, and he ends up winning, which we'll get to that as well. And then we get to hook up with Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin, where this was supposed to be a dream match, not just for wrestling fans that see Darby Allin, who's like the Jeff Hardy of this generation, but also Darby Allin, who also sees this as his own dream match too, which pertains to Jeff Hardy because he grew up a Jeff Hardy fan. Same thing with how Jeff Hardy grew up a fan of being Sting, fan of the icon Sting, and minus the whole TNA 50 Row debacle from 20, or was it no, actually it was 2011. I was thinking about 2010, but no, it was 2011 actually. So I had my years mixed up there. But anyways, so it was it's surprising when it was getting this match already between Darby Allin and Jeff Hardy, where they could have at least tried to build this up, like Darby Allin said in his interview that he did. They could build this up, and then during the show of Dynamite, which was on Dynamite, and this was the main event, they decided to have this match to be anything goes, basically no rules. And while you have Mark Hart there, by the way, who was there in attendance during that time, to watch the match, to see Darby Allin do what he did, doing a stunt that could easily have Mark Hart having that type of trauma back in her head after what happened to Owen Hart back in 1999 with the whole stunt thing that on that show never happened. And yes, it was the whole stunt thing where it was from the ceiling, making an entrance. But this is it's different than what Darby Allin was doing with since him wrestling in the ring. To me, I would never have done this match between Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin, and I would never had this match to be anything goes, especially what Darby Allin did, where he where a stunt that he did there off the ladder to Jeff Hardy onto chairs, steel chairs set up outside. Could have went wrong. While again, you have Mark Hart there, and I knew some people was gonna. I mean, I didn't expect people to just say something about that until I seen it. Some people tweeted about it. I don't blame them. I don't blame them for feeling that way. To be honest with you, after they brought that up, I kind of felt that way too. The last thing you need for this Owen Hart Cup Tournament is to have a match like that, and to have Darby Allin do that type of stunt to remind us of why this whole stunt thing of what happened with Owen Hart should have never happened. And this match, the way it was done, and the stunt that Darby Allin did, should have never happened either. This should have been a tournament where it was supposed to be to show off these wrestlers of their abilities, their athleticism, and to show who has the heart of gold, who has the pride of showing tribute and dedication and inspiration of what Owen Hart brought to the table in pro wrestling. If that makes any sense to any of you. But that's how I feel when it takes to something. And on top of that, again, when it takes to this tournament, it should not be involved storyline driven, which I'm gonna get to right now. So you have Toni Storm, defeating Jamie Hayter, 8 minutes and 32 seconds. I thought the match was good. You have Dr. Baker, DMD, facing the Joker on Wild Card Wednesday. We all thought it was going to be either Candice LeRae or maybe it's going to be Taya Valkyrie because of who showed up, which we'll get to. And we all thought maybe it could be Athena, but instead it was Maki Ito. And why? So to that Dr. Baker DMD could have a win on Maki Ito in 6 minutes and 44 seconds, which the match itself I thought was decent, but all for this to give this a win for Britt Baker. Why? For Toni Storm to come out there and for Britt Baker to be focus our eyes onto Toni Storm to be her next opponent in the semifinals, to what? Advanced storylines, advanced feuds. We got Ruby Soho of defeating Riho in 9 minutes and 7 seconds, which I thought was pretty good. And we still have we still get to the match between Red Velvet versus originally it was supposed to be Hikaru Shida, but Hikaru Shida, according to AEW, she was injured because of her match against Serena Deeb at that street fight, which was not true because Hikaru Shida debunked that on Twitter because this was news to her that AEW never told that, and I blame AEW for that too. By the way, I blame AEW's talent relations for for that. That's Christopher Daniels and whoever else is in charge of talent relations as well. I blame those guys from AEW behind the scenes for not telling her that it pertains to this whole thing storyline where that she's going to be taken out of the match because of her her fake injury, which she was doing. She was at in Japan. So when she found this out in Japan, basically, and then again it was news to her, and then she tweeted something that was very controversial, where it pertains to how Japanese wrestling is not someone the lines of not being respected in a way. And I said to myself, wait a minute, Hikaru Shida is mentioning this company in the AEW who gave Riho the first ever AEW Women's World Championship title, and then he have Hikaru Shida be the first AEW women's to be the longest reigning AEW Women's Champion of all time. They had Maki Ito wrestle here on AEW plenty of times last year, and then this year, and I think should be a little more. You have some other Japanese women's wrestlers are here as well, where it tends to showcase what they can do, not just for the women's but for the men's too. So, especially with Kenny Omega, is the reason why these Japanese stars that coming from Stardom are here in the first place. So, coming from Hikaru Shida for saying that to a company in AEW that focuses around respecting and showcasing Japanese wrestling, working with New Japan Pro Wrestling, with the whole AEW versus New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door. So I thought that was rich coming from Hikaru Shida for saying that, but that's whatever. It's whatever though. I mean, it is a big deal because Hikaru Shida is saying that too and all. Now there's some. Now I don't know. It could be some some heat because on that whole thing now. I don't know. I hope not. But maybe next time AEW, I don't fully blame on Hikaru Shida. As far as that tweet, I blame Hikaru Shida for that tweet though. But I fully blame AEW for not telling her in advance about this because, again, this was new to her. She wasn't hurt. She's not injured. She's fine. She's in Japan doing her thing. But she did apologize in the tweet too, by the way, that she couldn't make it, to be part of this Owen Hart Cup Tournament. And no, the qualifying match didn't count as part of the brackets. So who ends up being the replacement for Red Velvet? So basically, they did this whole thing in the ring where Tony Schiavone is talking to the baddies in Kiera Hogan, Red Velvet, and Jay Cargill, and you have Mark Sterling too, by the way, who has a neck brace and all. I can't remember if he had maybe a walker too or a cane, whatever, because he was hurt. Anyways, by Wardlow, by the way. And I was thinking, so wait a minute, if this is going to be about Red Velvet, why do we need Jay Cargill and Kiera Hogan and Smart Mark Sterling there? Why? Storyline driven. And how did it continue with this whole storyline driven? And first of all, Red Velvet, all these she didn't cut a promo. If anything, I think Jay Cargill did more of the talking than Red Velvet did. This is supposed to be about Red Velvet. Why was this about the baddies? It's beyond me. But who has been the replacement for Hikaru Shida, who was injured according to AEW? Chris Stanlander, the former friend of Red Velvet. Why? To advance their storyline. And we'll get to who won that match too, by the way, between those two, because I haven't seen Rampage yet. But we get to this other bracket for the men's: Samoa Joe versus Johnny Elite. That's right, Johnny Elite. The former Johnny Mundo, the former Johnny Impact, what I call Johnny Trash, the former John Morrison, the former Johnny Nitro, the former Johnny other things he had, but he's also known as John Superstar and back in AAA, and whatever Lucha Libre is in. And I don't understand why he can't be called Johnny Mundo, because I think El Rey owns the copyrights of that name after Lucha Underground has been canceled, just like they own copyrights of other names too. which doesn't make sense though, because Lucha Underground's gone. So what was the point of even keeping that trademark name? If that is the case, I don't know, but I digress. But yeah, it was the former John Morrison who's going by Johnny Elite, which I call him all be trash Johnny Elite. But yeah, Samoa Joe went against Johnny Elite. Some of us thought it could be Claudio Cesaro. Some of us thought it could be Johnny Gargano. And because it was Johnny Elite, which we all thought maybe it could have been Ty Valkyrie, facing Dr. Britt Baker, which ends up not being, because it ended up being Maki Ito. So after finding out it was Johnny Elite being in the match, I'm like, well, he ain't winning though. And I was right. Samoa Joe is advancing. So, but after the match though, remember I said about the whole storyline, advancing storylines that they're doing for this tournament? That's exactly what they did. Because Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and this Great Khali 2.0, which I'm forgetting his name. I think it's Sadman Singh, whatever. They came out and they used the pipe, the steel pipe on the top of his shoulder. Now, my guess is they're probably going to do an injury angle where Samoa Joe will be taken out, or because whoever was to win this next match is going to be a targeting that shoulder injury that Samoa Joe had because of Jay Lethal, with the steel pipe shot. So speaking of which, you have Ray Phoenix versus Kyle O'Reilly. 12 minutes it lasted, which match was great, and didn't need any false count anywhere. Didn't need no anything goes. Didn't need no ladders. Didn't need no chairs. Didn't need no stunts whatsoever. I mean, even though there was some type of stunts with this, doing dives and all, in Ray Phoenix part, but that's a different story. But you get my point. So Kyle O'Reilly, remember how I talked about taking notes, know that and everything? Well, apparently he had been taking notes too, but a while back when it came to how Ray Phoenix got hurt back in let's see, what was it, like January or February was? I think it was January. Yeah, it was probably January. We had that, but we all thought it was a dislocated elbow, but it's not being dislocated at all, and not being a broken bones in a way. I meant to say it was dislocated, but it wasn't no broken bones in a way. Where I guess he didn't need surgery during that time, so which it was lucky too, by the way. He was lucky on not to have a broken bone. Otherwise, he would have had surgery and he would have been out for more than he would have been. And he would never been in this tournament. But Kyle O'Reilly targeted that same arm that he suffered this past January, and Ray Phoenix immediately tapped out. That's storytelling, I should say. Storytelling, I meant to say, not storyline. That right there is storytelling of what happened to Ray Phoenix a while back. So Kyle O'Reilly, go on him for that. And they had Alan Cole versus Dax Harwood, 15 minutes and 34 seconds lasted. Very good match, with Alan Cole winning with the sharpshooter. But also was doing a teaser of doing the Sweet Chin music, which crowd booed, by the way. Because, what seems to the Hart family and Shawn Michaels, especially back in those days, not a fan. They were not a fan of that, but it was. I thought it was where I called it though. So Alan Cole did the advance, and then Darby Allin and Jeff Hardy. Like I said about the match itself was good. I'm not gonna say the match was bad because this was in the wrong placement of where it is to what this tournament is supposed to represent. It was supposed to be all about. If it was just a match where they could just build it up later on down the line that has nothing to do with the Owen Hart Cup Tournament, I would have been fine with that. But because it didn't in the Owen Hart Cup Tournament, I have a problem with that. That was unnecessary. Unnecessary to have that type of match in the Owen Hart Cup Tournament. Especially when you have Mark the Hart there watching this tournament. So, and I said that Jeff Hardy, that Darby Allin should win. Instead, they had Jeff Hardy win instead. And then I understand why they did that too. Do I agree with it? No. And we'll get to why. So, Alan Cole versus Jeff Hardy has happened. 7 minutes and 10 seconds. It was a good match, but didn't go that long because they ran out of time in during that segment, which eventually I will get to that point when I get to it, folks. When I get do my AW videos to catch up on, which I have yet to do it yet. I've been busy. I apologize for that. But Alan Cole wins, as he should. He actually should have. He advances, but after the match, why was Jeff Hardy in this match against Alan Cole? to advance the storylines with the Hardy Boys versus the Young Bucks. So yes, as it stands, folks, Adam Cole is going to be in the finals. He's going to Double or Nothing to face either Samoa Joe or Kyle O'Reilly. And if you ask me, Samoa Joe's going to win, because they're not going to have Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole face each other in the tournament. They're going to have Samoa Joe versus Adam Cole. And because my predictions had to change because Johnny Gargano was not in the match, I'm going to go with Adam Cole for the win. I think for what it is, Adam Cole is the right person to win this tournament. So we'll see how that turns out. As far as the women's side, since there was no Athena there, and because Toni Storm is there, and Chris Stanley is in the tournament as well, I think she's going to go over on Red Velvet, and then she's she and Ruby Soho will have the match, which I hope they're not doing a storyline advance of that too, which is the matches from a while back. But either way, I will still have. I don't know. I would love to see Ruby Soho go to advance in the finals, but after they put Kristen Anderson in there, I'm thinking to myself they're gonna probably have Kristen Anderson get the win here. But I'm still gonna go for Ruby Soho to advance into the finals. So that Britt Baker and Toni Storm had that match. Toni Storm to win. And it could be between Toni Storm and Ruby Soho, where again, Ruby Soho is my pick to win this entire thing. But they might give it to Toni Storm, because she's new and everything, and they want her to win this, to win the tournament to give it that big push, to basically repay her, to help redeem her after WWE's failure of her. For the Queen's Crown and her failure of her run in the main roster. So, but there you go, folks. That's all I gotta say from there. Not much to say from there, so I'm gonna end from there. How I feel about this Owen Hart Cup Tournament that they've been doing, not been a fan of it. Had not been a fan of it. I mean, again, good matches I'm seeing, decent matches as well. But how they handled this tournament, how they booked it, how they presented it, I have not been fond of how they've been doing this tournament. And I shouldn't be feeling that way, because this tournament should have been about a legit type of tournament, like how New Japan Pro Wrestling treats their tournaments legit, with their Best of the Super Juniors, the New Japan Cup, the G1 Climax, and they're not doing that. If they were, and the thing about this too is that they're doing this whole thing where they're doing their own tournaments where they they want the advanced storylines and the advanced feuds and programs with one another, and it's fine and all. If you want AEW, if you want to do that type of shit, do it with your Full Gear tournament. Which is to go after the AEW World Championship title at Full Gear. Leave the Owen Hart Cup Tournament out of this whole storyline advancement bullshit. This should have been a legit tournament where it should have some prestige into it, instead of using this Owen Hart Cup Tournament to advance a fucking storyline. But that's how I feel. Disappointed. And I was looking forward to this Owen Hart Cup Tournament too. I wanted to see how they presented it. But that being said, folks, I'm done. Thank you for watching. It is the artist, formerly known as the Natural Born Driller. I say peace on the streets to all you. To be well, stay safe, take care of yourself, everything that's going on in the world. Wear your mask, hand sanitize your hands before you wear any type of gloves of any type you want. And be sure to be appreciative, be respectful, to love one another. God bless one another. Live in peace and harmony for us all, which I haven't said for a while from there. But there you go. Fly them out here. You all take care. And remember, despite how this tournament has become, all you who are all Owen Hart fans, even if you're not Owen Hart fans as well, but yeah, I respect him what he's done for the business, and for bad what happened with him, and for bad with the family living life without him. You all from the bottom of our hearts, have a heart of gold. Take care.